Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm back. I don't know if I deserve a place on this show no more after you guys absolutely smashed it last week.
Well, we did agree on everything last week as well. And I already know from our group chat that that's not happening again this week. So, yeah, maybe you are best to sit
But the
out.
funny thing is, though, I actually really did like Better A Bill. I was just winding you up. So I agreed. I really liked it, to be fair.
Well,
It was just the first issue was shocking. But massive shout out to you guys. You absolutely killed it last week. Ben, I was really hoping you was going to show back up with your lip ring again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've left it behind. It's in my history now. It's in the 90s where it belongs. You've still got yours. Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's nice to be back. I don't know if I feel welcomed or not because you guys did such a splendid job. But was that a little drum roll? Boom, boom. Is that what it was? There we go. Is that for my dad jokes? My shocking dad jokes that I bring out every week. But we had Hydra here. He was here at like 6:52 this morning. On it like Sonic. How you doing, mate? Nice one. We've got Mr. Tom from Not Quite Mint, who's probably still sitting there. He was there for half hour before he even realised I was talking to him.
I had you on mute.
Picking his nose and all sorts. He was flexing his muscles like that, just standing there. Just
scratched my bum as well at one point.
To be fair, we've had shows that have gone on the whole time and he hasn't even realised he was on here.
That is also true.
We've got Fuzzy Dunlop. Thursdays never look so sexy. Watcher, pimps and biatches. Everyone's favourite poptimist, Darren. We have who else have we got? We got the Padawan Collector. Welcome, sir. We have Sean the Noob, and I think we've got the one and only Mr. Sif. Welcome, sir. We have ABZ Comics, and that is all at the moment. But how's everyone's week been so far? Good.
So far, so good, mate.
It's sunnier. Freedoms are coming down the line. So I think things are looking up, Charlie. And you're back.
I'm back. I don't know if I want to stay back. Like, honestly, I really enjoyed being on the other side of the fence last week, just watching it.
Just watching this fat guy sweat as he tries to navigate his folders.
Where was you doing it? Where were you doing it? Was it in Clark's changing room? You know, the shoe shop Clark's. Was it in?
He was getting ready for his Wizard of Oz themed party at the weekend.
It was Primark, all right? I can't afford Clark's.
I thought I recognised that brand. I thought I did recognise them curtains. Someone did start tugging at it, though.
We definitely missed a trick not getting your partner to hand you some kind of clothing through that.
We should have just handed it through, like handed the notes or something.
You know what? I was so close to doing that setup again, but I had your annoying little jokes and ribs on me in my head, so I've moved back to this other corner of the kitchen again. Thanks.
I like that corner, though.
It's
a strong corner.
It was Laura Ashley, so obviously Poptimist has been there, done that. So right, so we've got two things that we're reviewing tonight, plus the comics and the Killer Keys, the indie picks, and the covers of the week. Shall we go with what do we go first? Do we go with Loki or do we go with Black Widow first?
Oh,
shall I just surprise you and we'll just go with it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Tom, have you seen it yet?
No.
Right, okay.
Sorry.
Good start to the review. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. We'll be back next week.
I think, as always, with the majority of these review videos that we show at the start, it's thanks to Ben putting the time and effort in. So I think it's only right, Ben, if you want to kick us off. Obviously, the Black Widow movie, you was the first one out of us to see it, I think. So take it away.
Well, I went on Wednesday as the rest of the country watch footbol. I watched Black Widow. No, well, yeah. To be fair, he's from overseas, isn't he? There you go. Buongiorno. But yeah, so I was actually quite apprehensive, coming into this film. I think the delay has just been unparalleled.
11 years, I think it has been, isn't it?
Yeah, but 11 and a half. It's just weird, isn't it, when you know something is finished and you can't kind of watch it, just to have it sat there on the back burner. And I think since then, so much kind of speculation and stuff has been happening with the series on Disney Plus that does that kind of change things. Anyway, I'm really on the fence, you know. I can't sit here and say that I loved it. I can't, because I don't think I did love it. I think the kind of, you know, the MCU fanboy in me sort of tried to be really positive about it, but the more I thought about it, the harder I kind of find it to defend. I'll tell you the things I did love. I think Florence Pugh, who, I don't know if my wife's gone upstairs yet, but I've got a massive crush on. She was incredible as Yelena. I think she's really kind of carved out a fantastic version of that character there that I think is going to live a long life in the MCU, and that's really exciting to see where that will go. David Harbour, his Red Guardian is my spirit animal. Like I absolutely loved that kind of. It was like dad bod in the form of a superhero. It was, and just kind of just his approach to things and his sense of humor and kind of awkwardness. Everything I loved. I love David Harbour anyway from Stranger Things and stuff. So I really enjoyed that. I didn't like. I think it needed to be more serious. I think it tried a lot to be funny and to kind of have that MCU humor, but I think it failed more often than it succeeded on the humor front. I think where it succeeded was David Harbour's Red Guardian and Yelena and stuff, but where it kind of failed was like Natasha's annoying kind of informant mate who could just like rustle up a Quinjet as you do. And why have we never like seen him or heard of him? Like it felt very disjointed. It felt like he was there as just a kind of living red herring for the Taskmaster twist. The twist that I am, of course, talking about, obviously, spoiler warning, guys.
Yeah, hold on, I'm literally just
get it up.
Get
it up, nice and big. Spoiler warning. I'm fine with the twist. I actually liked the twist because I didn't see it coming. You know, we've had 2 years to kind of stew on this film, build it up, and not at one point did I think this is what they'd do with Taskmaster. So I enjoyed it in that sense. But I think the problem lies in the kind of the way that character was in herself. I think she's very boring. She's mute. She's that kind of mute, mindless kind of, and even when she was brought out of that, it was still a kind of mute, mindless, like, you know, person. Bit of a blank canvas, and we all know that, you know, Taskmaster in the comics is not like that. He's a great gobshite. He's very funny. His kind of skills and stuff are incredible at how he's kind of, you know, studied his craft over the years and learned all the things that he's learned. And I just felt like it was really kind of throwaway in the end. I am hoping that this will get a Mandarin style retcon down the line. So someone will maybe we'll get the real Taskmaster who picks up the technology, the suit or something, and becomes the real Taskmaster down the line. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for. And lastly, my massive pet peeve with the whole film is the main villain, Ivan Drago, or is it Ivan Drago, played by Ray Winston, incredible actor, the worst villain in an MCU film to date. It was like a cardboard cutout cliche of a Russian, you know, crook. It just felt very lazy. It felt very non-consequential. I think the whole film felt non-consequential because you kind of know what's going to come. You know what's going to come. You know what's happened before, and kind of didn't. I just didn't care enough as I should So that's my 2 cents, or maybe 10 cents. But I don't know, Andy. I'll be interested to hear what you've got to think, my friend.
See, I don't have any notes, so I don't know if I can have an opinion on this.
I don't have notes. That was all off the top of my head.
And apologies for my echoey mic, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I didn't look too deep into it, and I just enjoyed it for what it was. I thought the story was fine. I thought the action scenes were incredible. Some of the fight scenes were fantastic. I thought the music accompaniment was superb. And I just loved some of the Easter eggs, which I'm sure we'll probably get into a little bit of Easter eggs in this and also for Loki. But it was, I felt myself watching it, looking out for the Easter eggs and trying to connect everything up. So maybe I missed some of the things that you've mentioned there, but overall, I really enjoyed it. And it would probably be a movie that we'll probably go back and watch once we've seen more of the Phase 4 movies, and it'll all connect and it'll all make sense. But the big thing for me, the big takeaway from it was the Winter Guard potentially being something in the MCU. So the guy, what was his name? I can't remember. It was Ursa Major was the guy that he snapped his wrist. So,
the big guy.
Yeah. So that big guy's in the Winter Guard, and
is he the bear? Is that the bear?
The massive one, in the prison.
In the comic, he's like an alcoholic bear, and he even teased it by saying, "Oh, that he's just like a big bear." And I just thought that was quite nice. So go check out all those first appearances of the Winter Guard. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Loved it.
What do we reckon with the Winter Guard as well? I reckon that could be great, the Ursa thing. But obviously, you've kind of got Red Guardian and Black Widow's mum knocking about. But Bucky, you remember when we were talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I was like, what the hell can Bucky do now? He can lead the Winter Guard, the Winter Soldier leading the Winter Guard. Just saying, throwing it out there.
Well, like, I've got to mirror what Andy said. Like, I really enjoyed it. So obviously, it's set. Well, this I got confused about this. So obviously, the premise of it is that it's been set after the events of Civil War, like, and everything like that. But then on the phone, when Natasha's on the phone to General Ross, he talks about saying, "Well, we've just captured Barton. A shrinking convict, and then obviously Wilson, which is Falcon, Ant-Man, and Hawkeye." But then if this is set after it and they've just caught them, then surely it's tying in with it. It's carrying on from there. It's not set after it, it's set during it. Because if they've just caught them, then obviously it's not.
Do you guys ever get confused by Charlie's confusion? Like, Charlie's confusion is so deep that it then confuses me when I wouldn't have been confused. I wasn't confused about that before Charlie got confused.
Did I mention I like music?
But this is just one of the things. Like, obviously, the whole premise of it, and I didn't even know. I didn't spot this. My wife did. She was like, "Well, if it's set afterwards, how comes he's just said we've just caught them?" So surely it's in the same timeline. It's in the same. Literally, it's a couple of weeks after everything like that. But anyway.
Well, it leads straight on, doesn't it? It's like right at the end of Civil War, kind of leads into this, and then back into kind of Infinity War sort of time.
The one thing I did enjoy it, and as Andy said, the action sequences and everything about it was a really enjoyable film. There weren't nothing really serious to take away from it. It was a film you could just whack on 2.5 hours later. You've enjoyed an MCU film. It's not as intricate as the Avengers and stuff like that. But one thing I did really notice is that Yelena Belova, she is. I don't know if you guys have seen Killing Eve, the TV series.
Yeah.
There are so many similarities between Villanelle and Yelena Belova. Like, it's unreal. It's uncanny. The way that she talks, the way that she carries herself, the way that she even fights. And I don't know if that was done on purpose, but I kind of really like that because Killing Eve is wicked. And I think she needs to feature a lot more coming in the MCU. Like, obviously, towards the end of the film, we find out that this is all going to tie in. But I thought she was a great character. Oh,
she is Black Widow now for the MCU. And I think what will be interesting is, again, spoiler warning, it's been set up with seen Fantina. Is it Fantina again in the post-credit scene, and she's basically stirring the pot as Yelena is mourning her sister Natasha. She basically says, "This is the dude who killed her," and shows a picture of Hawkeye as Ronin. So what will be interesting now is, do you think we'll get Florence Pugh in the Hawkeye series? There's been a lot of behind the scenes photos from the Hawkeye series, and we haven't seen Florence anywhere near that project. So do you think we're going to get that, or do you think that'll be continued in a film or just forgotten about?
I don't think there's enough substance for her to be in a film. I think it will tie into the Hawkeye series and then go from there, because she's like, there's something about her, like she's got a really big like character profile. Like I think she could do loads.
One episode I think of Hawkeye could be really cool to kind of have her come in trying to assassinate him or whatever, and then realizing that he's safe, don't worry.
I think we've got a fan of her here. He says Pugh was fantastic in the BBC espionage drama Little Drummer Girl a few years back. Great actress.
Yes, she's amazing. I actually fell in love with her as she played Paige, WWE's Paige in what's that film called?
I thought I recognised her, to be fair. That's a great film. Fighting with My Family.
Fighting with My Family, and also Midsummer is like one of my favorite horror films. She's incredible in that as well. So I love her.
But if I'm being honest, I think it was a thoroughly enjoyable film, and I thought
me too.
I thought it was a good.
Tom, we nearly left you out, mate. Any thoughts?
Yeah. No, I thought it was a really good movie, to be fair.
Good, thanks, Tom.
I thought it was a perfect mix of action and comedy, and it was just an easy to sit down and watch film. Like Ray Winston, he slipped in and out of Cockney, don't you think? No.
Oh, it's horrendous, the accent. I think it was a victim of when it came out. Like, this film should have been released when it was set, which was after Civil War. And I think Black Widow as a character, Scarlett Johansson as an actress deserved that film. And kids deserved that film a long time ago. And Andy is a father of girls, as I am. And I think you'll probably share the sentiment that this is an important film. Like, I can put this on and my little girl can watch a film centered around two kick-ass women, saving the day. And I think that's a kind of cool thing in itself. Yeah,
no, 100%. Yeah, no, it's one of those movies that I guess for large parts of it, my girls could sat and watched it with me. They chose not to, but I would definitely, exactly. I definitely agree. It had a different vibe from the likes of Wonder Woman, and it just gave another female strong character that the little girls, as you say, could look up to and kind of aspire to. But one of the things that came into my head when I was watching it is, especially at the end, was what team are they trying to build? Are we looking at Thunderbolts here? Are we looking at Dark Avengers?
No, fun. Like, Dark Avengers sounds silly, I think, to the general audience. Like, obviously, we're all familiar with it, but I think Dark Avengers sounds silly to a kind of person that hadn't heard that before. I think Thunderbolts will come, will pass off a lot easier for the general audience. And I think with Thunderbolts as well is that, you can kind of do anything with that team, really. Doesn't necessarily have to be a bad team either. Like, and I think that who we've seen she's recruited so far in Yelena and John Walker, they're both very kind of ambiguous characters in the sense that they've both got very shady kind of past, aren't pure good, but they are trying to be good. And I think that's a really kind of interesting theme.
Who do you think Valentina's? Do you think it's her team, or do you think she's working for someone? I have a theory. Do you think she's building a team for someone?
Get the tinfoil hat on.
Indeed. I'm interested to hear what you guys think first before
I. Now you've said that, I feel dumb for not really having. I think it's a government thing. I don't know. I think it's just a government thing. I'm really excited to see kind of who they bring into that mold. What I think would be cool, muscle-wise, is we've seen Abomination in the Shang-Chi trailer, and I think that he could be really kind of fun to see as the muscle for that team. Come on, Andy, you're killing me. I want to know this theory now.
I honestly think, first of all, I think General Ross has got something to do with it. Like,
General Ross.
Yeah, I think he's.
Well,
just
a really interesting thing on Ross is there was a line in this where she mentions that he's had various bypasses.
Yeah.
And he's on a crutch, isn't he? Which I don't think we'd seen yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are they hinting at a kind of illness that he then has to, that he is trying to solve?
Yeah.
And we know how he loves to have a fiddle with the old super soldier serum. Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Coming soon, maybe.
But Oracle, what's happening?
Yeah, come on.
Doctor Doom.
Oh. He's
and on
lost
that note,
the plot.
guys,
Andy has
lost
a great
night. Andy has just fucking killed it.
See you, Andy. Didn't bring his note. Now he's talking about Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom, I think, is the person behind all of this, and that's who I think is creating this super duper team, and that's how we'll introduce Doctor Doom.
That'd be wicked.
No,
I'll tell you what, if this comes to light, this man here, right, has just smashed it.
That's not enough.
How do you know what Mephisto like showed up in Loki episode 1? So why not?
Telling you, mark my words. Mark my words. It will happen. It will happen. What does the chat think? Did the chat think I'm absolutely crazy? Well, apart from that, but for this.
But honestly, I think this is the guy that told us to read Bunny Mask. So you know, it could.
So take it with a pinch of salt.
And
did anybody read Bunny Mask issue 2?
No.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely. No, I haven't either.
But I think I don't think it's not possible. I think it's definitely out there. Why wouldn't it be? Do you know what I mean? We've waited 11 years for a Black Widow film. I'm sure we could wait. I mean, when did we first see Doctor Doom? When he in like the Fantastic Four with Jessica Alba?
He's in 2, isn't he? He's in 1 and 2 with Jessica Alba, and then he is in the other one, the newer one, which is
we don't talk about it, Tom.
We don't.
It never happened.
Someone said it's not worth watching, so I watched it.
Oh my god,
it's
he hasn't never get that time back.
I mean, so on that, like, I think, to be honest, would you say it was a killer? I thought it was a killer. I thought it was a really enjoyable film. Before we get into the Easter eggs of it, I enjoyed it. Tom.
I loved it. It was great.
That's a moo point, mate. It's like a cow's opinion. It doesn't matter because you haven't seen it. It doesn't matter. But Ben, Andy's going to go for a killer, I guess.
I thought it was a killer. As killer movies go, it was there. Don't go into if anybody hasn't seen it and has muted us and watching this in the replay. Don't go into it with any expectations. Don't look into it too deeply, and just bear in mind that we've been spoiled with 3 fantastic Disney TV series, which we've been comparing this against. So there's not much they can do in 2 hours. They've had the opportunity like 8 hours and 6 hours for 7 hours for TV series. So go into it, enjoy it for what it is.
Benjamin, Mr. Marvel.
I can't say it's killer, you know, guys. I can't do it. I feel like if Red Guardian had one more like kick-ass scene, like if we actually got to see him kick ass rather than just like being a joke, then I might have moved it up to killer. But I can't give it that. It's not a binner by any stretch of the imagination.
It's just on the side.
And if you put it up against,
teaching on the edge,
70% of the DC films, it's killer. But yeah, it's a teeter for me. It's teetering.
Teeter.
Right.
Can I make a suggestion, Ben? Could we see you cosplay as Red Guardian for Thought Bubble?
Oh my god,
guys! I lack one of the key features of that character, or
you can buy
I lack
a beard.
Not like that glorious though. And
but
that,
if you start now,
what
if you started now?
I'll grow one. I'll give it to you.
I've got the belly, that's for sure. I felt triggered seeing him squeeze into his costume. It literally looked like a scene of me before every convention.
I loved it. I thought it was great, but I'd like to see you as Red Guardian. I think that's what we need to get,
guys.
We need to get a GoFundMe page going to see Ben as Red Guardian.
Patreon.
Patreon.
Sponsor me. Give me money.
Who's going to start on the old Easter eggs?
I haven't got many. There was one where she said about her dad being Crimson Dynamo.
Hold on, let me just change this because Tom decided to do one, so let me do that.
He was like, I haven't seen this film. Finally gave in.
He's literally left. I can't even put him back. Oh, here he is. He's back in now.
Yeah, the Crimson Dynamo.
Do anything.
See ya.
Can't find the staff. It's because I'm not in control this week, Tom. Sorry, mate.
Yes.
Was you last week?
Kicked out.
No, I was not. Wow. That hurt. Crimson Dynamo, she mentions, or she kind of quotes him. And I like that because obviously Crimson Dynamo is a big part of the comics in the Russian superhero world. So that was kind of the only one I could think of. Obviously, we've already spoke about Winter Guard and Thunderbolts and stuff like that. Was there any others?
Yeah, so apparently
the vest.
Yeah, no, the vest. Obviously, yeah, that's like she gets that and then she wears it in Infinity War. That's kind of not really a new one, but when she's sitting in her trailer and she's watching the James Bond film Moonraker, and she's like mimicking everything like that. Yeah. That film takes place on a satellite in the sky that floats around. Right. And at the at the beginning of that film, I think James Bond jumps off it into a parachute and it kind of like replicates like the Red Room and stuff. And then I just thought it was pretty niche that the way that the ending of the film is filmed on a satellite floating in the sky and she kind of mimics what James Bond does and jumps off at the end with a parachute. So I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah, nice. I don't like James Bond, so I would have never have got that. But very good.
And the main one I had was the plane that's in the movie. The number is 258, and Incredible Hulk issue 258 is the first appearance of the Soviet super soldiers.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. And he also said the Red Guardian said that he fought Captain America, and it'd have been about 1980-ish that he'd have done it. So I had a bit of a wild theory that I sort of done a bit of googling on, and a few people have said it. But do you know how Stan Lee had the cameos on all the movies? Mm-hmm. What if Stan Lee was ultimately Captain America? He was like Captain America, or he was a character of Captain America in all the movies. And in 1984, he met the Red Guardian, and we see something in one of the movies coming up that he was, when the Red Guardian met Captain America, it was actually Stan Lee. That
sounds wicked. That sounds, we definitely need our little tinfoil hats out. I like that.
Yeah, he's gone off the rails. No, I'm really worried about him.
No way.
Dr. Doom and Stan Lee as Captain America.
It's like, wow.
You know what? I'll be honest. The end of Endgame, I kind of wanted that to be who was sat there, not Chris Evans all old. I kind of wanted that to be Stan Lee, to be fair.
I think he passed by that point.
No, I thought they'd superimpose him at that point to just be
right.
You know, I was Captain America all along, sort of thing.
Just like a rubbish like PNG of him with like
a bit like how they did
white around his head and
Henry Cavill's mustache.
Oh, don't remind me.
Right, so have you got any more?
It's like that the whole time.
Looks like he's had a stroke in that opening scene. It's the worst.
It is. Have we got any more theories? I've got one more. I'm not really sure what it says. I wrote it down. WHIH25 is presumably a local affiliate for WHIH World News, which is the MCU's go-to fake news channel, which broadcasts
fake news
that have appeared in the Immortal Hulk and Iron Man 2. And that's what
are you reading that from BuzzFeed?
100%.
That one I am,
all of his.
Yeah, that one I am. 100%, yeah, because I was like, what the fuck is
this what you meant by notes? Make sure you have notes.
It's just screen grabs of different captions.
He didn't say his notes. He just
I didn't say that. No. Andy, that's where you missed it. We didn't say our notes. We just said notes in general.
Just plagiarism.
Right, so we've got people. Is it Loki yet? Hand signal if it is Loki yet. We are, Darren, you should be able to find out if it's Loki yet from when we do this. Now,
I forgot about another theory. I had another one, but I'll leave it.
Go on, go back to it.
No, go on, mate. I can't get enough of these ridiculous. Go on.
Do you remember when they were talking about the genetic potential in babies? When they were, he was talking
Mutants.
about it. So what if that is the X Factor? What if they do an X Factor movie? Not as in the music TV show, but as in the comic.
There we go.
That was my last one.
Turns up in the MCU.
You were doing so well, and then you mentioned X-Men.
Yeah.
Well, we've already, to be fair, we've already had them talk about, like with Wasp having her genetic, potential brought out of her when she went into the quantum realm. So I don't think it's too wild, that one, to be fair.
Yeah, look, Darren loved the X Factor.
There you go.
There we go.
That was it, guys. Sorry, I ruined the Loki moment. Can we do the Loki thing again? Just rewind.
No.
Yeah, push it again.
Well,
Push it
again.
Yeah. Does Darren definitely know it's Loki now?
I guess we could say that first one was a variant.
Yeah.
No?
Oh, very good.
Well,
You also have to pay me
timeline.
royalties every time that you play that, so keep
Tom,
playing
you
it.
know about royalties and sounds that we can and can't use, don't you?
Highlight that guy.
Too soon.
Too soon. But guys, it's the end of Loki, or is it? It happened last night. It was, for me, I spoke to Darren about this today. I enjoyed the episode. I really did enjoy it. I just think for an end of the series, it was too dialogued. There was far too much narrative. Far too much.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think, and again to bring my wife into things, I always watch it by myself in the morning, like 8 a.m. I'm like refreshing. Watch it when I'm working, and then I watch it again with my wife in the evening. And she turned to me halfway through and she went, "Babe, this is a struggle." Like, so I think it was far too dialogue heavy, but my word,
It's a good episode. Though, it was.
Word. It was. As dialogue goes and as performances go of dialogue, oh Christ on a stick! It was it was something else. Spoiler warning again, guys. If you have not seen the final episode of Loki, thank you very much, Charlie. Jonathan Majors, in terms of debuts, that is one of the finest, most electric, charismatic debuts, I think, into the MCU. It's really up there. And for me, I just think this whole concept that wasn't even that was a variant, of Kang the Conqueror, which we all knew Jonathan Majors was cast to play. It's just genius. It's just genius, because now it's like that was one variant, and it was he was pretty messed up anyway. That guy, and he was the one who was like supposedly doing good. So the prospect of now having these like next level like Kangs, and I think we'll get a lot of different Kangs, and I think they're going to pop up for the next 8 to 10 years, and I think at the end of it all we are going to get the Secret Wars. And I kind of had that bubbling, and now that I've seen the episode, I'm set on that theory. So
I've got to agree with you,
hat on.
Do you know what the twist at the end that really threw me? I didn't see it happening. Was when Loki came back and he's talking to Mobius, and they're like, "Sorry, who are you?" Like, and then he looks up and there's that almighty statue of Kang.
Yeah,
I was like, "This is fucking awesome. This is sick." Like, this was.
Wait, Tom, have you seen it?
Yes.
Tom's up to date on it.
Thank God for that.
But I was like, this is, out of everything that happened in the episode, that kind of settled it for me. I was like, right, this is, they finished it on a high, to be fair. But Yeah, I definitely think the Secret Wars is definitely gearing up in some way, shape, or form throughout this whole thing. There's been little tads too, like, is it going to happen? Is it, and everything? And I think, I really hope it does, man. Like, I've just got to say, Tom Hiddleston is just, I could never picture anyone else playing Loki now. Like, do you know what I mean?
Is he Loki playing Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah. Tom Hiddleston is a Loki variant himself.
But I just really enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, I said at the beginning it was a very long narratived episode, but I think it was needed for the ending, for us to find out stuff and like the way that the everything panned out and stuff. But it was a great episode. It's just like, now is it? What sets up for the next one? Is there going to be a season 2?
There is.
Yeah.
That's
the stamp.
Yeah, did you not see the stamp?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Mate, always wait for the after credits.
I even fast forwarded it to look at that as well.
It's only for a little teeny weeny bit, mate. Did you fast forward it, you probably would have missed it.
And to be fair, I was kind of expecting more or something like
so
something
was
proper, and it was just that, and I was like, oh, okay. My only thing is I could have gone home knowing that it was just one series of Loki, and it was set up at the end with Kang, being out there and ready to pop up in other films. And for me, I am very concerned about season 2. I just don't know how they can draw out another 6 episodes. Like, I think it's been brilliant what they've done, absolutely brilliant. And I just don't know how they can kind of capture that again. Yeah, I don't know. Where do you think it's going to go, Andy? Because I'm always interested to hear your theories.
I don't know if you're going to like what
Probably
I thought
not.
of it.
Hold on, is it? Are you going to say it's a filler?
I actually was going to suggest that the whole 6 episodes were a filler for the MCU.
What?
I thought it was the most Doctor Who MCU has ever got in its life, and
That's probably why I liked it.
It was I struggled. I enjoyed the sum of all its parts and the Easter eggs, but I think you have to go into something like this looking for more than just Easter eggs every episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Because specifically this last episode, I don't know, I just felt really underwhelmed with it, and there was just a lot of cheesiness about a lot of it that I didn't expect from the MCU. But we've got Kang, but they could have probably told us that within 2 episodes, not 6.
I think they could have done, like, I know Darren. He's a massive fan of Miss Minutes. And
join the queue.
The Miss Minutes thing is fantastic.
When she made her entrance in season 6, like, she is just some feisty little two-faced bitch, isn't she, man? Like, honestly, and I would have liked to see more of her, or have they done that and they're saving it for episode 2, season 2? Sorry.
Don't rule Miss Minutes out. I still think she's in charge. There's something there.
Yeah, do you know what?
Isn't it's the voice who does Harley Quinn, isn't it?
Yeah, Tara Strong, absolute
Yeah.
legend. She's not. Kang's made her. What's wrong with you all?
Well, yeah, but I
She's
kind
a
of agree
bloody
with Andy.
AI. Why do you find that so hard to?
Well, what did she give to the lady that I forgot what she's called now.
Sylvie.
No, she gave when she did the file download.
Ravonna.
That's it.
Ravonna,
She did all that file downloaded, but she gave her something she didn't want. So what did she give her? Because obviously Kang didn't tell her to give her that.
Oh,
yeah.
Kang Media. Did you
Kang
say?
Media?
Is that a variant?
Yeah,
probably. Might be.
Caring, sharing.
I think you're going off the deep end there.
I've got to agree with Andy though. I think there was so much hype from episode 1, 2, 3, episode 4 and 5 and stuff. But episode 6, you would expect more of it. Like, if you look at WandaVision, if you look at Falcon and Winter Soldier, the endings were good. They tied it all together. It was a good ending. With Loki, it was kind of just like, nah. Do you know what I mean?
You look at consequences. Like the consequence of what Wanda didn't really leave outside of her and Sword. You know, the consequence of Falcon and you know, that's a kind of, you know, centralized event. Like this has consequences that we are now going to revel in for, you know, 8 to 10 years and get this kind of multiversal war at the end with bloody, there's 5 Peter Parkers over there, and there's Super Soldier Supreme, and like it's just, like the possibilities now are just like I do agree with you, Andy, in the sense that it was like one big filler, but what a filler! Like what a kind of stepping stone. But I just don't know how much more of Loki's story I want to know. Do you know what I mean? I kind of feel like I kind of would have been okay for Loki to die in that final episode.
There'll be a lot of kid Loki, I think, in season 2 because they've got to set up the Young Avengers somehow.
Now, answer me this. I spoke to Michelle as we were watching it, and I was like, when Loki and Sylvie held hands, they created a Nexus event. Darren's just said it as well. Why was there no cataclysmic reaction when they kissed? Like, why?
Because they're at the end of time. There's no reason for them to cause a cataclysmic an event because they're already at the end of time.
But they did cause an event because when she killed him, it created another event because all the timelines screamed off and stuff.
They killed Kang, not because they kissed.
He wasn't there to.
He wasn't there to stop.
Yeah, but he didn't know that was going to happen, did he? I just thought it was like,
I mean, it would have made sense if they'd have caused an event.
Miss Minutes didn't want it to happen. That's all you guys need to know. Okay. And
also, it was a kiss that wasn't necessarily two-sided. She was manipulating Loki during that kiss. So it wasn't like they both didn't have a tingle.
Do that again. Right.
Here we go. Look, Luke. Thanos was the big bad of the first 3 phases.
Disgusting.
The multiverse is the big bad moving forward. Maybe. I mean, I guess it ties in pretty well for Doctor Strange's movie and whatever else.
I honestly, I think we'll get a version of Kang in Doctor Strange. I think we'll get a version of Kang in Quantumania. Maybe even one in the Spider-Man film. And one in Loki Series 2. I think they'll all be different.
And there might be a few variants when everyone's able to go back to work on COVID. Everyone might be doing a Kang. Why not? So who cares? There'd be quite a few variants, won't there?
Did I say
Andy,
I missed him last week?
You was meant to do the drum, Andy. I teed you up there and you didn't even do it. There we go. See? But I don't know what everyone else thought in the chat. Did everyone think that episode was kind of a downer? I mean, I was expecting more from it, if I'm honest. I know what you're saying about the consequences and stuff, but now we've literally got to wait probably another 3 or 4 years to find out what them consequences are going to be.
The what?
The consequences.
Obviously, something else then to start with.
No, I think we know the consequences that it's branching off. I think the next few years, if anything, we're going to be able to revel in that because, I think Doctor Strange is going to travel 2 different dimensions. I think in Spider-Man, potentially something from different dimensions is going to come to us. And I think we're going to be able to I'm just so excited. It's just it's great. And I just feel we got Frog, for God's sake. Anything is possible.
That was pretty cool.
We got Frog, and we've also got bloody Disney signing off on Korg and Deadpool doing reaction videos on YouTube. Anything. What a world we live in right now.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to bring that up, but yeah,
it was 2 loves of my life coming together. Although I do still the one good thing about there being a season 2 of Loki is that potentially we can still get Deadpool show up in the TVA.
That'd be great.
Or even either way, I mean, Deadpool can show up anywhere now. He can be any of those branches. The X-Men can be any of those branches. The different Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, all these, different things. Howard the Duck, the original 80s George Lucas film. No, maybe not that one.
That'd be awesome. And does it mean this is my favourite pastime, by the way? This is my aggressively reaction.
Exactly. Ben Affleck's dead.
Aggressively relaxing. Fuck's sake. Welcome, sir. This means Ben Affleck's Daredevil is now in continuity. No, does that mean? Oh, for God's sake, that was the worst fucking. And I guess we get Elektra as well. Why wouldn't we? And we get a Jackman tease as well. Yeah, there was. He posted an image on Instagram the other day, didn't he?
The Boss Logic image, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Boss Logic. So
I think the only way Jackman would come back is in a Deadpool film, and it didn't mean he wouldn't come back.
No.
I think it just.
There's a petition, isn't there? He's got a petition between him and Ryan Reynolds because Ryan Reynolds wants him to play Hugh Jackman at a fancy dress party dressed as Wolverine.
Wolverine, yeah.
Brilliant.
Which I would pay to see.
But again, with this multiversal thing, there's nothing to say now that Deadpool can't just be, go around and build up his own team from the multiverse.
I think what they've got to do, they've got to be careful not to just fucking ruin it and it just becomes an absolute joke. So I think, we're going to see like the multiverse and stuff like that. What's Luke saying? He said, surely the new timelines can only exist from the moment, and thus all past movies cannot now be canon to a multiverse. See, again, look, this could end up going like X-Men. Like the X-Men Days of Future Past happened after the X-Men's Days of Not Future Past when they was just X-Men.
I think they were
in the Days of Future Past.
I think they're in a bit better control this time around, and I do like that they have got that kind of freedom now to kind of push the boundaries a little bit. But like you said, I do agree. I really hope they don't go too far.
Yeah.
Because it really could mess everything up, and what they've built so far is so good. I really hope they don't go any too far than that.
I think what they'll need to do is they'll need to peak. They'll need to plan that peak, and that peak will hopefully be a Secret Wars type film in 8 years or whatever. And then after that, they need to strip everything back. And whatever happens in that film means that we go back to having a core of 10 heroes, Whether those heroes by then will probably be, Young Avengers or whatever, so.
Oh, but killer or binner episode? I'm going to say binner.
I'm definitely going to say killer, mate. I mean, just the portrayal of Kang alone was quality. I mean, I just think he was so good as Kang.
That apple, just the way he's eating that apple.
Well, I just found him really playful. He was quite skittish. He was actually quite frightening in parts, and then really funny. He was chilling. He just hit everything, and he's supposed to be the bad guy in that one. So for me, I thought it was a killer.
I'm going to say it's a binner because of how long it took and the narrative and stuff. But on the flip side of that, the intro of Kang sitting in a lift eating an apple with no manners, just talking with his mouth full, a killer. So I'm kind of on the fence with that one. Andy?
Also, 180 flip for Tom Hiddleston's Loki was ridiculous. Like from the start, just being a selfish kid that just wanted to take over the TVA to being in love with someone and wanting to save the universe. I really do think he portrayed that flip incredibly well. Sorry, go on,
he's
Andy.
done that flip 3 times now. That's and I think that's the point they're trying to make with Loki, isn't it? That inevitably he always goes through that journey. And sorry, go on.
Benner, I don't like Doctor Who.
Oh,
Ben, should we do
screw that guy? It's a killer.
Okay, it was a 2 for 2 there, and it was a bit like the episode. It was kind of. It just ended. So, like our opinions on that, it's just going to end, and we're going to go on to week 27 review. That's what we're all here for. We ain't got an intro for this one. I should do an intro for this one. I don't need an intro when Tom's doing it, do I? But obviously, if you guys in the chat don't know, we have now switched the format for the last couple of weeks. Now, we are reviewing last week's comics. So, for you readers out there, if you haven't read them yet,
boo-hoo.
It's really not our problem. We're giving you a week and a half to read it. And if you have read it, then I know Fuzzy Dunlop, I know he was in the chat yesterday, I know he picked up Andy's comic, which was his choice of last week. So I think, and we just, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So my pick of last week was Noctera number 5. I know we've all been reading this. This is obviously by Scott Snyder and the art by Tony Daniels. There was 8 or 9 covers out this week. We had the main cover by Tony Daniels, cover B by Nord, cover C by Daniel and Mayolo. We had cover D by Frank Avila, the 1 in 10 black and white incentive variant cover, the 1 in 15 black and white incentive variant cover, and this fantastic cover by Jamie Tyndall. Now, for me, this comic has been the first issue I read. I weren't into it at all. I was kind of thinking, I'm really not into this, but this has been a consistently great comic, to be fair. Like, it's not perfect. I'm not going to say this comic is perfect, but the artwork for me and the story are really something to go on. Like, it intrigues me in every single issue. And with the way issue number 4 ended, with like the kind of the big what if and everything like that, with the way that like Val and Emery were kind of going to this all outside light or whatever it's called, I thought this issue was wicked. The spoiler at the end, honestly, I really didn't see coming. But for me, the art really, really stands out. Like, this is probably one of the only Scott Snyder comics I've kind of read and enjoyed as much as I have. But the art is just sublime. It's a good comic, to be fair. And I think Val is becoming one of my favourite female characters in comic book at the moment. She's a badass. Like, she's wicked. And I mean, I was impressed with everything in this issue, to be fair. Like, especially the cliffhanger ending, I really, really enjoyed. I just think it's a good storytelling comic, if I'm honest.
It's a builder for sure. I think it's built from every issue. It's got better and better. I find it really captivating and interesting, the whole story. And I think Tony S. Daniels' artwork of how he portrays M when he's changed is just incredible.
Yeah,
like the whole changing of him into these kind of what the shade type characters is really, really cool. Although this issue wasn't as high octane as all the others, it still felt like it was really fast paced, and it had enough. Although there was no real action, it had enough action in it for you to feel like you were still on a roller coaster, that you had been through the rest of the issues. And that twist at the end, mate, was superb. Absolutely superb. I do think it's a good comic to read.
I didn't see it coming. I love the fact that Val and Emery, they're not blood related, but there's such a close bond there for brother and sister. Like, it's great to see. Like, honestly, it's such a wicked comic. And I've got to give massive shout outs to Andy for this one, because he's the one that kind of, I think he suggested it. It was either on his Instagram post or I think he reviewed the first comic, and I wouldn't have read it if it wasn't for Andy. So, dude, thanks for piquing my interest with this one.
I try my best to pique your interest, Charlie, whenever I can. And I'm glad that I did on this one. I think you used the word consistency, and this has definitely been one of the most consistent books that I've been reading each time that it's out. And it's annoyingly consistent as well, because I think there's a lot of people who want to not like this book because it's Scott Snyder that does it, and he's one of the big guns. And I think he's just kind of been able to play in his own little sandbox outside, Marvel and DC. And the artwork by Tony S. Daniel is, again, absolutely superb, and I think it actually makes the book what it is. And something that we don't often touch on is like the structure of the panels. And I think if you take a step back from this book, from the story, which this issue for me was a little bit wordy at times. It was a lot to take in, but I liked the way that the pace was slowed down, and it was almost replicating the pace of her brother getting better. Yeah. So it was a slow, him building up to getting better, and then we see that at the end of the book. The colours are superb. Again, the story was fantastic. Some of the colour work, especially when it showed you the sun, or what we assume is a sun, I thought was beautiful. And then the last panel, which I actually had to go back 2 or 3 panels just to understand it, because it's so out of left field. But it's definitely a book that I look forward to, and yeah, I'd highly recommend it if you haven't. Is this the first arc finished, or is it 6 issues for the first arc?
This is the first arc finished.
I think it's the first arc. Yeah,
this is the first arc finished. Yeah, so I wish almost that I hadn't read each of the issues individually, because I think this is another example that when you get this in a graphic novel form, that it's going to be one that you'll sit down and consume literally within an hour or two. It's that good.
Yeah, the trade paperback comes out in August, I think.
I think it's definitely go back and read it from 1 to 5, because the character development between Val and M is ridiculous. Like, the two, I didn't find the flashbacks too disjointing throughout the whole series to understand their character and their bond. I really think it really, really helps with the story overall, having those flashbacks.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Benjamin?
What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, it's all right.
Say that again.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's fine.
So I can't. You must have a throb in your throat. I can't hear you, mate.
I didn't read it.
Oh,
Oh.
I got all that stick for not watching.
Look, guys, I tried the first issue of this and couldn't.
So you haven't read
get on
4
board.
issues of it? Is that what you're saying?
See ya.
So I just couldn't. So I had a little peruse. The artwork's nice.
Wow.
I'm saying this comic's a killer and Ben's a bidder.
So I'm just going to stop.
We've known that for a long time.
I'm just going to sing "Hello, Darkness, my old friend."
I like the way you picked a song that was in keeping with the comic as well. That's fantastic.
I know it's good, isn't it? See,
like it.
see, I do have my. I didn't actually, but well done for that. Yeah. See, the Oracle see that coming. Hello, Firehawk. You've joined us just at the right time. So we was just talking about a fantastic comic called Nocterra, but Ben hasn't read it. So apparently you've changed.
It's five issues, guys. You don't bloody pick things that are like 5
Hold
issues
on a minute.
in.
You tried to get us to read, what wasn't it?
Well,
X-Men 27.
There was 15 issues of Marauders.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's not the worst thing he's done. He's actually made us read Fight Girls issue number 1. But
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
A minute.
Whoa.
Right. So with that,
Breaks.
with that, we're going to go right. So Nocterra for me was a killer, 100%.
Killer for me, guys.
Killer for me, 100%.
Right, okay, and we are now going on to. We're going to go into Ben's pick of the week, and it was Fight Girls. Now this is by Frank Cho. The art's by Frank Cho, and the colours are by Sabine Rich. There was 6 covers out this week. There was the main cover by Frank Cho. Cover B by Deodato. Elias Chatzoudis variant cover. We had Derek Chu variant A and a Derek Chu variant B. And I think that is actually it, to be fair. Yeah, is it? That was it. So there was 5 covers. Ben, take it away, because I love this comic. So I'm just going to let you go and I can go into it.
I mean, you know what? Like, Frank Cho's a really interesting one, I think, because he's kind of... There's a bit of controversy that does surround him as an artist. And he's dealt with it in a very kind of way, which I do think that whilst I'm pretty left on a lot of things, I think sometimes that kind of cancel culture and stuff will just try and find victims from anywhere, and I think Frank Cho's a lot of fun, and I think he captures the fun of comics. And I think if you draw a character in a very sexy way, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being, a misogynist or, sometimes it's just about having fun. When he draws a male character, that male character does not have the body that I have. I will tell you that for free. So, I definitely don't. I definitely think some of that controversy is misplaced. I really enjoyed this. This is Hunger Games meets Wonder Woman, the beginning of Wonder Woman with the trial and stuff. Yeah. Andy is raging already. I can tell.
It was a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Running Man.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Guys, it was Love Island meets the Krypton Factor.
Oh my!
Yeah, but
fine.
They're too great.
Why are you watching Love Island? Is the question.
You know about Love Island.
Look, I was worried that at the beginning of this, it kind of opens, introducing the concept. And I was really worried. I was like, oh, God, this is actually going to go in over its head before it's even started. And the concept is going to be too high. And it very quickly goes away from that and just has a ball with the very basic storyline.
Very basic.
But it's drawn. It is really basic. But you know what? Yeah. I think we were talking about it like last week with Better Ray Bill and stuff, and I think it is a palate cleanser of a book. When you kind of read all this intense stuff, it's just something that you can sit down enjoy a really basic story, but revel in like some stunning, clean artwork. Like Frank Cho's stuff is just so clean. I think Sabine Rich's color work is gorgeous as well, like the shading and everything like that.
Yeah, Sabine Rich is insane.
Like for me, Ben, I was like, it is, as you just said about Better Ray Bill, sometimes you just want to read a comic that doesn't have any thought process in it at all. Like I actually really loved it, like really enjoyed it. Like Frank Cho and Sabine Rich on a partnership for this comic. Like the majority of it's done by Frank Cho, but I really, really enjoyed it. Like I like the fact that it was kind of set up with like your Hunger Games feel and everything like that. It was just amazing to read.
Mean,
nothing
tick box
special.
Exercise, dinosaurs, violence, beautiful woman in very impractical attire. Like it ticks a lot of boxes.
I'd agree with you, mate. I think it was really. I really enjoyed this book. I didn't think it needed much mind power to read at all. I love the fact that Frank Cho is doing double duty on this. So he's written it and done the artwork for it, which is just insane. What a talented man! I do think he's done really well to kind of not over sexualize the characters in the artwork, which I think is really cool. I like that. Even though they are in quite skimpy outfits.
I was going to say, apart from the fact they're literally wearing small white panties,
but they're not
and a crop top.
He's not brought it like he's not really gone in on that. Like they're not the crop tops aren't like cut or anything. Do you know what I mean?
But it's kind of like whatever. Like
it's not like a fun book. You don't need to use your brain to read.
I will say one thing though. I will say one thing is that how it's been set up from the first issue. It's pretty tight to the story. We kind of know what we're in. We're in a Hunger Games situation where one woman's going to win and become queen and whatever like that. I think if he starts to veer too far from that, you're going to lose interest because you're going to be like, right, hold on, this isn't the story that I kind of got into. And that's my only thing. Like it's a nothing comic. It's an enjoyable.
It's only a 5-parter. It's only a 5-parter as well. So.
The artwork's great. The colors are great. Like the in-depth visualization of it is wicked. The narrative ain't everything, but it's a good comic. I just hope it doesn't veer too much from what it's actually setting at, and I'm really, really interested to find out what Andy wants to say about this comic.
Yeah, go on, let him have his rant. Come on, he's been winding himself up. Oh, he's tutted. It's the tut and the sigh.
He's going to say killer, mate. He's going to just completely come in like, this is amazing.
Predictable, boring. That's just me. I don't know where to start, guys. This was like we've read some bad comics this year, and for me, like we're in July. This was the worst comic I've had to
enjoy. No way.
Yeah. I would on the artwork alone, like it overrides numerous comics that we've looked at.
I can't even with the artwork. It was just so nonsensical, and if it had been any other artist that had created this, then I don't think we would. I think a lot of you give it a bye ball for a lot of it because it's Frank Cho that's doing it. I'm interestingly, it's not Marvel, it's not DC, it's not even Image, and I would love to see the pitch for this book. To be honest with you, like how this was sold as a credible reading experience, because
they basically went into the office was like, look, I want to do a Hunger Games meets Running Man meets The Land Before Time with skimpy girls in outfits.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I went, get it done, Frank.
Yeah. Go on, Frank.
Sign me up.
There was one cool panel with a dinosaur, the Velociraptor, which was the highlight.
Sorry,
No, I was just going to say that for me was the highlight. But I just thought the predictability of this book, it was an apps like give me some Marauders or X-Men, Ben, please, because this was
really
famous last words there, Andy.
Andy, if you had this on a table and you had Bunny Mask, what one are you picking up to read?
I'd read Bunny Mask 3 times.
No,
what is wrong with you?
Really?
Wow. I'm shocked on that.
I'd wipe my arse with Bunny Mask.
Get out.
And you have done, Tom.
No,
Yes,
I
I
read
have.
this comic. I read this comic. I read it like 2 o'clock the other morning and got through it, and I was like, oh, what? And then I see Andy's comments in the chat, and I was like, right, let me give this another go because I really enjoyed it. And I read it again. I enjoyed it even more.
Guys, who was your favourite number as well? I love number 2, Jaxa Wyman.
Mine
She's
was
my
number
favourite.
1.
I like
Mine
the
was
one that looks a bit
number
like Rogue.
Oh, mate, number 1 is dead.
Or is she?
Yeah,
Mate,
she
I
died.
What is she?
My favorite was number 29 because that was the last page of the comic.
I mean,
He's
that
looked
was
that
a bit
up
cool,
just
it?
then to make that.
I did. I actually did.
Oh, creepy. All right, so but this was
Okay.
your
Killer
pick,
for me.
Ben. It's a killer.
Killer
It's a killer
for
for
me.
me.
Killer all day long. I love it.
Killer for me, yeah.
And Andy wants to kill himself for reading this comic.
It's my top winner of 2021 so far.
Oh,
And
savage.
we've read some shockers, man.
And next week we've got Frank Cho on the show.
But yeah, great covers, decent looking comic book. I mean, look at this cover by Derek Chu, variant A.
They're quality, mate.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Variant B is
Move on.
Devil Dragon.
All right, we'll move on. We'll go on to
We'll
move
go
on to A Nice House on the Lake, number 2. Now there was, I don't know, I think a few covers out this week. James Tynion again with Alvaro Bueno on the main cover. You've got Anand Radhakrishnan variant cover.
Well done.
You've got a Wanted Comics exclusive. Yeah, I think Commit had to there. You've got a Comic of Kingdom Canada exclusive A and a minimal trade B as well. Tom, this was your pick of the week.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so this was issue 2 of the highly anticipated James Tynion's horror comic for DC. I actually really lost it with this one. I really enjoyed issue 1. Issue 1 was great. I found with this one there was a little bit too much for me to kind of have to go back to issue 1 to reread because I didn't know who was who. Because I've got 2 sets of names to learn. Mm-hmm. So you've got the code name and the person's name, and I couldn't work out who was who. So I had to keep flicking back between issue 1 and 2 to know what was going on. So that would be my only criticism of this book, is that I spent far too much time flicking between 1 and 2 to find out who was who. But off the track, right at the start, I was confused. But then once it got going into it, I actually really enjoyed this book, to be fair. I like the fact that there's lots of little kind of teasers about what the reason they're there for. Like, has he brought them there just because he loves them, or has he brought them there because they've got a bigger role to play as it goes on into the fact of his race or whatever have destroyed the world? I mean, I really liked it. 100% though, I think it's going to be another reread for me, like issue 1 and 2. But yeah, I thought it was all right.
Well, it's interesting you say that about it being a reread, because I think the fact that this is coming out monthly now, it's going to start to get difficult to read it. And I think this could be a comic that after 7 months, you're going to forget what issue 1 was all about, unless you read every single issue when there's a new issue coming out, which you might as well just pick up the trade paperback. Because
it's really convoluted, isn't it? It's really complex.
Yeah. And I think the way that James Tynion does that, I mean, he's working on this. He's done the same with Department of Truth, where you kind of lose what the track of the story is. I think I stopped reading it after issue 3. And it's kind of like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good story. Like, the first issue had me intrigued, and it was insane to begin with. Like, there's nothing out there like this, what's happening at the moment. But I just think the monthly thing is going to start to wane on us. You're going to be like, oh, for God's sake, now I've got to wait a month, now I've got to read the other comic again. And you're going to find it harder and harder to get into it because of that length in productivity from this comic coming out. I'd say issue 1 and issue 2 are a must read, but I don't think the story's good. But again, as you said, you're trying to learn 2 or 3 names, and who is the reporter, who is the doctor? Oh, that's so-and-so, and that's so-and-so, and they're up there and they're in here and stuff. I mean, this one was just the character builder, I think, with the way like the dialogue and everything, where you're reading like the transcript of who said what and how they're dealing with like the aftermath of what's happened. I think it gives the reader enough to keep them hooked, but I don't think it gives too much enough away to thinking, well, I'm going to want to pick up issue number 3.
It definitely gives you a massive rabbit hole to run down.
Yeah.
The problem is with this massive rabbit hole you've got to run down, you've got to run back a bit and then run again. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to go back a little bit to remember what was going on the first time round.
Yeah.
But like I said, I did enjoy the issue.
I wouldn't say the art is amazing though, but I think it works well with the darkness of the story.
It fits well, yeah.
Yeah. Ben, Andy.
Well, I mean, if Fight Girls didn't have enough stuff in it, this was the opposite. This had too much.
Yeah.
And I felt like that in the first issue, and this issue, has kind of put the nail in the coffin for me. Unfortunately, I kind of gave up like midway through the second issue and just sort of skimmed it. I mean, these Hickman style, like X of Swords, long kind of filler pages with like emails on and stuff like that. I'll get a book if I want to read stuff like that. But I don't read
If you
books.
guys want to find out what Ben thought of X of Swords, head over to Not Quite Me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, hours of.
It's only 7 hours and 42 minutes long, so it's not that long. It's about as long as his X-Men intro a couple of weeks ago.
The one, a little bit shorter. Unbelievable! I cannot believe you brought that back up. That's a sore subject. Look, the visuals are quite cool. I on a horror side of things, there's some pretty cool visuals here. I think this is going to be a flash in the pan, guys. I think this will be.
I think you might be
forgotten in a year. This will be one of those other DC Black labels that's in the bargain bins for £1.
Andrew.
Is that Scottish?
I was like, when did I become Welsh? Andrew. I don't know. I'm on the fence for this one, guys. I think it's visually stunning. I love the artwork. I think it is superb. I think Jordi Belair's coloured work in this is absolutely, this is how books should be coloured. I think it sets the mood, sets the tone perfectly. I just don't know if this book is maybe been a little bit overhyped. So there's a certain preconceived notion when you go in and actually read this of expecting more as opposed to just being able to sit and enjoy it. It's very wordy. Again, it's another book. I think you mentioned, Ben, that if you wanted to read a novel, you'd pick up a proper book. The transcripts and those pages I thought were cool in the first issue, and then just got a little bit annoying in the second issue. When I got to that page and it was like a full list almost to go through.
It was really disjointed.
For me, it's one of those books where you have to go back and read it maybe 2 or 3 times, and normally I don't like to do that for comics. But for this, I've kind of given it the benefit of the doubt because of who it is that's writing it and because of all the hype about it. And I must say, it's enough for me to read issue 3 and keep going because there's just something there that is a little bit different from what I've been reading. You're just waiting for something to happen. I just hope that we don't get to the end of 12 issues and actually nothing's happened. So I'll keep reading.
But that's what Leon Russell said. He said it definitely deserves a reread.
100%, yeah.
And then just be Kang at the end, sat there with an apple.
Mephisto, Miss Minutes.
But Comics Talk Weekly, I view Black Label as the new Vertigo, though I doubt there'll ever be an ongoing series under the imprint. Yeah, see, I think the biggest thing with this comic is that it's coming out monthly, and a story is this intricate, you ain't going to survive. I think after a lot of people probably get to issue 5 and 6 and think, I'm lost, man. I ain't got the time to sit and reread another issue just so I'm on track with another one that comes up. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, that's the only reason that during the Joker War that Batman survived. Yeah. It came out bi-weekly. So you didn't have enough time to forget what had gone on.
Yeah.
Because Joker War was a slog to read, to be fair.
Yeah.
And did enough happen in this issue, I guess, is the question for a lot of comic readers. Is there enough, if you to read this issue just on its own, would it draw you to go and read issue 1, I guess? And probably the answer is no.
But what you said on the flip side of that, there was enough in this, because I've read issue number 1, I want to read issue number 3. There's something there I'm I really want to know what's going on now.
I think a little bit of that, and I can only speak for myself, is a bit of FOMO though. There's a fear of missing
100%.
out. Because everybody seems to be hyping this up and everybody seems to be reading it and enjoying it. So you don't want to be that guy that drops it at issue 3 or 4 and you miss something, and then everybody starts jumping on the
I think
bandwagon.
because of the name as well, it's like taboo to not like something Tinian does.
Yeah.
I love Tinian, but like, this is not good.
Well, I don't like Department of Truth.
And Batman's not very good at the moment. But I said it.
Yeah.
Batman's not.
Sorry,
good.
James.
But, so, is this a killer or a binner?
Binner.
I really don't know because I enjoyed it in parts, but
I'm going to go binner just purely for the fact that I didn't enjoy having to flick back to issue 1 so soon, being at issue 2. I didn't want to flick back to issue 1 in issue 2. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to go binner, I think.
I'm going to go killer because I don't want to put it in the same category as the last comic.
I'm going to go killer on the fact that there's something in this story that really intrigues me and I really want to read on. Like, I'm going to be one of them suckers that's going to be like 9 issues in and be like, I hate this comic, but I need to finish it now. Do you know what I mean? And I'm already at issue number 2 and I'm like, I've got to see this through.
The main covers are gorgeous. I will give it that. Like in terms of cover by, the main covers for this one and the last one.
But even this main cover here is that is freaky as anything.
Yeah.
Like that is just, and then we've got this one. This was the guy at the start of the comic, wasn't it? Doing the narrative about talking about his childhood friend and stuff.
Just thought it was Elton John. Just
candle in the window.
Seems to me you lived your life like a candle.
That was
so that was an even break. 2 fillers, 2 killers. What have we got? The comments in the chat we've got. I fear a lot of comics aren't very good at the moment. Everything seems geared towards films and TV show pitches. A bit like this show this week, Luke. So thanks for pointing that out, mate. We've got Comics Talk Weekly. DC didn't like the sales numbers.
I like that you said I fear, like it's a memoir. Like I fear.
I know. Mr. Butler has joined us. He is obviously the winner of the Alan Quay signed comic that will be with you soon, sir. We're just waiting it for to come back.
It is on its way. It's just that Alan Quay and his family are in quarantine, so he's not allowed to leave the house. So that's why we haven't had it back yet.
Well, there we go.
Malaysia is locked down.
But he has some. Speaking of MQM, my first crate was delivered yesterday. Cheers, Tom. So look at that. That we sales with smiles and deliveries and everything. So Department of Truth on track to beat in Saga and Walking Dead #S over 500,000 single issues sold and the trade paperback a year supply sold out instantly. Bleeding cool article today.
I love the way Charlie said #S.
Yeah, well,
instead
of
numbers.
Numbers, yeah. Well, it's just
somebody must.
It's just the lingo, isn't it?
The bandwagon for Department of Truth is ridiculous because Saga is a far superior comic. I love Saga,
but that's just what the comic book community is about, isn't it? Like people.
It's no doomsday clock.
It's no doomsday clock. It is no doomsday clock.
Wow.
We're doing something about that, ain't we? Maybe when the
it's close to Watchmen. It's trying to be Watchmen with those little filler pages.
Yeah.
But Watchmen, like for me, is the only thing that's ever got that right. Like ever, Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But Andy.
Yes.
This was your cover. I mean, Masters of the Universe Revelations, issue number 1. Writer is Kevin Smith and Rob David, and artist is Mindy Lee. We had the main cover by Stefan Sejic, cover B by Mike Mignola,
I love
cover
that cover.
C by David Rubin, cover D by Rich Woodall, cover F by Ryan Brown, cover G by Sergio Aragonés, and Dave Wilkins variant. We've got friend of the Killer Comic Show, Mr. David Nakayama, with a fantastic variant here, and the Dan Brereton variant, and I think that was it. Oh, and also, how could we forget Mr. Alex Ross with the wraparound Virgin cover as well?
Special that. Very
Dude,
special.
take it away.
Oh, guys, I really, really wanted to enjoy this book. I really did. And I feel Mr. Grumpy Pants.
Mate, I'm so glad you said that. I'm with you. Whatever you're going to say on this, I'm with you, I think.
I really wanted to enjoy it. Kevin Smith's attached to it. There's obviously the TV series that's going to be coming up soon. I know that one of my favourites, Mark Bernardin, has written at least one of the episodes for that. A big fan of his. And I went into this with little expectation, I guess. Intrigued, I guess, was the best but the artwork for me, straight off the bat, I just didn't enjoy the artwork. Dare I say it was a little bit too cartoony for me. But then we got to the story, and it was just. I just didn't enjoy it, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know if I was having a bad day when I read it, but
no, mate.
I wanted something a little bit more adult, if that makes sense. I felt as if I was bordering on reading a kid's book for most of it. And it's actually one of those ones where I won't be looking at issue 2. I'm not even intrigued to see what happens. I think the covers that you've just shown there, especially that one for Alex Ross, far outweighs any of the content that was in this book. So I'm sorry for me.
But Andy, I'm with you on that, mate.
Winner.
100%. This has been like hyped as the prequel to the upcoming Netflix TV show, which is going to be coming out in the next couple of months. So I've got to say, straight off the bat, I was confused as anything. Honestly, I was just so confused. Like, there's me as a kid thinking, like, He-Man, he was the first He-Man. He wasn't even the first He-Man, and by the looks of it in this comic, the first He-Man was a black guy. I was just confused. I was just like, I just didn't get it. I was so confused. Like, the story of it, this was definitely my worst read of the week, a binner of the week. Like, I didn't enjoy it. I won't be picking up issue number 2. I won't be reading it via other needs must. I won't be doing it. I won't be going near it. And I doubt I'll be probably watching the TV show as well. Disappointing, to be fair.
I'll be watching the TV show, definitely.
I don't know.
Tom, what did you think?
Well, I'm going to disagree with both you Debbie Downers. I actually like this book because I quite liked the fact that it was childish, and I liked that it had a childish art style. I liked that it was a little bit anime, because that's exactly what it's going to be when we get there for the TV show. It's going to be an animated TV show. So the artwork fits what it's supposed to be. It actually is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a prequel to a TV show. It's not a comic book. If we were reading it as a comic book and we were expecting it to be something that it wasn't, I would have been disappointed. But I expected it to be a bit of a joke, if you like, a bit of a kind of a setup for the TV show. I liked the style of artwork in it. I think it felt well with the shit story that was going on. The story was crap. I definitely was a crap story. I wanted it to be more action packed. I'll definitely give you that. And it was a lot slower paced than I expected it to be from these guys. But I did think it was exactly what it said on the tin. It was a fun-ish book to read that was animated, ready for a TV show. So yes, I disagree. I think it's a killer, but only a small one.
Ben?
Well, I disagree with you all in the sense that, like, you're saying it's like childish or meant for kids or whatever, but like, I was lost. I was confused by the plot. So I don't think a kid would stand a chance. Look, let's be honest, this is living off the member berries that it gives us all, remember He-Man? People are going to eat this up because of the nostalgia, whatever happens. Even these covers, like cover buys all day long, because it's our childhood, isn't it? I think it should have just stripped everything back and just kind of re-explained who everyone was, or kind of set the scene a little bit more. I think it jumped straight into a big, long, kind of convoluted story. I kind of love the idea that there's another He-Man. There was a He-Man before and stuff like that. I love all of that, but I just think it should have been told in a much simpler way.
Yeah.
Saying that, speaking of simple, the artwork was too simple for comic book medium. Like, I think animation wise, this is, well, we already know from the trailer how stunning it looks as an animation, and I think it would have been nice to have, I don't know, just the artwork feel a little bit more edgy or a little bit more kind of detailed, graphic novel-y, like, I don't know, it did feel like an anime kind of storyboard rather than a comic book.
Did you feel like it jumped around a bit? I mean, we're reading
all over the shop.
And then it jumps back, and then all of a sudden we're meeting the Orlax, the creature, and he's killing one of the sons, and then we jump back, and then we find out that He-Man had to go back in time to save the king, and I was just like, I ain't got a clue what the fuck is going on.
I liked it.
You're a national treasure, Tom.
And any more, Ben?
It doesn't really mean it was a good comic because I like everything.
It's a binner for me because I think I couldn't get on board. And I think ultimately when I switch Netflix on for the new series, it will do a recap anyway. That's what it will open with. So it will tell us everything that happens in this book anyway, if it's relevant to the series. So I'll just kind of do that.
You'd have missed out on all these amazing issues.
Well, I could just get my toys out and play with them and make my own bloody stories. It's fine.
Right, but I think, so we finished the comic reviews on
I have the power.
I don't think there was any power in this comic. I don't think no one had any power in this comic. I think it was shocking. Hopefully, it will pique my interest and maybe I will watch the TV series. But after reading this, if this is what it's going to be like, I'm not interested at all. Not for me.
So we know what Charlie's getting in his next NQM crate.
Cheers.
And if you're into He-Man as well, shout out to Hydra Collectibles, who has a ton of He-Man content from the last couple of weeks. If you are that way inclined,
that's probably the only decent thing about this last couple of He-Man things that have come out is Luke from Hydra Collectibles.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff, man.
So head over to Hydra Collectibles over on Instagram and check out. He's got some various Turtles, He-Man, nostalgia. Take a proper trip down memory lane for them. So make sure you head over there.
It's just actually while I'm plugging him, might as well get it out of the way. He's got Kevin Eastman back on Sunday, 3 p.m. It's a second interview with Kevin Eastman, so please do sub up and be there on Sunday for.
I've got to say the first episode was out of the blue. It was awesome.
Yeah,
the way it was done, it was wicked. So definitely tune in 3 p.m. on Sunday for episode.
We're still waiting for our invite to interview Kevin Eastman for the Killer Comics show. Still waiting.
Oh look, he's definitely there. Look, he'll leave now because we've picked him up. He'll leave.
Yeah, we're just waiting an hour and a half for it. To be fair.
But Andy, I have actually done something for you, mate. So obviously we know that Tom. I'm just going to try and sort out things here. We know that Tom has a way of doing things with music and stuff like that.
Can we drop that now?
Why?
Because it's annoying.
Okay, right. We will drop it. But what I'm going to do, I'm just literally trying to get it up.
So as
the actor said to the bishop. But there we go. Right. So we are here now. Right. So let's get this. But Andy, I did a little something for you. I hope you like it. It might cheer you up this week. Where are we? Right, let's go. Banners.
In your own time, Charlie. Come on.
Yeah, so I'm just learning from you.
Unbelievable. You wouldn't see.
Here we go, Andy. Here we go. Did you like it, Andy? Did you like it?
Nice. It's very rock and roll.
I kind of put it down as an angry Scotsman kind of vibe.
I played that role quite well, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yes, welcome.
Well, you have today, bloody hell.
But you have. But no, but I thought I'd just do a little something for you. I wasn't here last week, and that was a thank you for me for you for being great last week.
Appreciate it, brother.
Take it away, mate.
This is Perpetual's Killer Indie Picks for New Comic Book Day, July 21st, which is next week. So make sure if you like any of these comics or they pique your interest to contact your LCS, or even better, get in touch with this guy at Not Quite Mint and go pick up some books. Okay. And you can let them know, Tom, how they do that and all the rest of it in just a wee second. So Time Before Time, issue number 3. I think I've mentioned this every single time that it was out. I really enjoy this book. I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think I'm a little bit biased because Declan Shalvey is the writer and the cover artist. He's from Ireland, and I've met him a few times, and I really enjoy his other work. Bog Bodies is a fantastic graphic novel if you haven't read that. But issue 3 is out next week, and I'll definitely be reading it. It may or may not be my read to force these guys to read it next week. But effectively, the characters are are in prison with the organisation known as the Union. So it's going to be following the characters now to see how they escape and they actually use the time machines to get to where they need to go. But I'm not going to explain the story. If you want to read it, please join me.
I've actually got to say, I enjoyed issue 2 better than issue number 1. To be fair.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah. I really did. I thought
it's a grower.
Mm-hmm. That's what she said. Pause.
Yep.
There we go. Next. Oh,
I knew you guys would like this one. Shadecraft issue number 5. Surely someone's going to have to pick this next week, or the week after next week, I would say, because we do a week before. But this has been consistently, we use that word quite a lot today, consistently fantastic. Joe Henderson doing the writing and Lee Garbett doing the artwork. This is a fantastic book. Can't recommend it anymore, and I would imagine one of these guys is probably going to pick it, and we'll get to enjoy it and review it. So make sure that you pick it up next week.
How many issues of this is there? Is this the last one?
No, this is an ongoing series as far as I'm aware. Yeah,
cool.
So I think this is going to be the finish of the arc. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me otherwise though. Next up. My favourite, The Many Deaths of Layla Starr by the absolutely fantastic Ram V, and Philippe Andrade has been doing the artwork on this. The second issue was probably as one of my top issues of this year that I'd read, and I think I was expecting so much more from issue number 3, and I found myself a little bit disappointed with it. So I'm really, really hoping that this issue picks the pace back up again and we get back to the same mode. I think this is a 5-issue run, so hopefully it'll be built picking up the pace for this. But you guys have read a couple of issues in this. I think I forced you to read.
I'm up to date on it. I'm up to date.
Are you up to date? What do you think?
I'm quite enjoying it, to be fair.
Thanks. Ben, have you read it?
Yeah, no, it's I think I'm with you. I think the third one felt, it didn't feel like it was the same quality as that first and second one. Or maybe not quality, but impact. It didn't have that impact on me as a reader. So hopefully 4 is a return to form.
Nice.
That didn't work.
Next.
I thought it would work better than it did.
Here we go.
We have Mother of Madness issue number 1. So this has actually been quite a lot in the news at the minute, and I think it's got a lot to do with a certain writer, or at least co-writer on this, Emilia Clarke. And this is only a 3-issue miniseries. So Emilia Clarke, obviously from Game of Thrones, the Mother of Dragons, I believe. And I think we tried to get Emilia on the show, didn't we? But I think she was a little bit too busy, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think we tried to get her on, and I think like with obviously this coming out and acting things and stuff, she just
you were in one Star Wars film, and you're too good to be on the Killer Comic Show.
I think
No, I was going to say it's interesting, this one, because I think Emilia is obviously writing it, but Marguerite Bennett is also, I guess, supporting with the writing, or is part writing this story. I'm definitely intrigued to see what this is about. It's only a 3-issue miniseries, so this might be one of the books that we read for the show to review. Are you guys looking forward to this one? Does it pique your interest?
Yeah, I want to read this one.
This cover's spiraling. Like there's all kinds of freakiness going on here.
It's one of those covers though that doesn't tell me anything about the book,
and that's why I want to read it. I'm like, hold on, I want to.
No, that puts me off.
Really?
Yeah, I want to know kind of what I'm getting a little bit. Like, when I buy a tin of beans, I want it to say beans on the front.
Don't judge a book by its cover, mate.
Well, it does say mature
cover is
readers.
not the book, so to open it up and take a look.
So
mature readers only. That should be enough to intrigue you.
Mary Poppins sequel song. That
I did enjoy that, Ben. Thank you.
I think MOM is close to selling out. I guess we can only imagine one reason for that, and that's probably because the Mother of Dragons, Khaleesi, is writing it, but who knows? But and what is this? Is that a ripped condom from Ask?
It is.
No,
that was inspiration.
That's just Ben's face.
Not a great cover. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how many people are going to pick this up and read it. Like me, for one, I'm looking at that thinking, oh, this is a bit freaky, but I'm definitely going to read it.
Now, this one is a book that intrigues me. Again, Boom Studios. You'd expected big things from those guys. It's from Latoya Morgan, and Walt Barner is the artist. And this is all set in Alabama, 1955. Avery Aldridge is an ordinary young black man, a decorated World War II veteran. And Avery provides for his wife and daughter, but wounds of the past have a way of coming back, and Avery Aldridge would soon discover he is anything but ordinary. So quite an intriguing little synopsis there. I'll definitely be checking it out to see what this is all about. You expect big things, as I say, from Boom Studios, so hopefully they won't disappoint.
Sorry,
anybody else?
Print.
Say again?
This has already been commissioned for a second print.
Really?
Is that right? Already? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you have a look
I don't get that. Is that done on pre-orders then? Based on pre-orders?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Wow.
That's the Boom Studios effect, I guess.
I found that with Razzle got absolutely nothing from the title. I think Darren's referring to Mother of Madness. I might be wrong. Midtown has no limits on it, and at $360 variant signed by Miss Clark. Very much looking forward to Dark Blood. I think this comic, like, is he a zombie? Like, he kind of looks like a zombie. Like, what's going on there? I'm intrigued to find out what's happening there.
Yeah, definitely be checking it out.
Siphon.
Yeah, Siphon issue number 1, another first issue. This is from Mohsen Ashraf, who I must admit I've not heard of that storyteller before. And it's from Image Comics, and it was the cover that got me. I thought the cover looked quite intriguing. And it's kind of like a supernatural, who done it mystery. Hopefully it will be something that will be enjoyable enough to pick up the second issue, but first issue I'll dive in and see what it's like.
Is that? And there we go. This is the one.
This is again another first issue. This is from IDW Publishing, and it's Bermuda issue number 1. And this is from the writer John Layman, and Nick Bradshaw has done the art and cover art. And I think John Layman done Chew, the comic Chew.
Yeah.
And I know that Nick Bradshaw has done like Spider-Man and Wolverine and stuff like that. So I'm expecting big things from this book. I think this might be one of the more quieter books that people maybe let go under the radar, and this might be one of the hits.
What is the premise of this one, Andy?
So it says here that there's a region in the Pacific Ocean where planes disappear, ships are lost, and travelling souls go missing, never to be heard from again. And there's an island within this space, mysterious and uncharted, an island untouched by time and civilization, where all who are lost end up.
So it is
Savage Land. Savage Land.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. So it is the Bermuda Triangle, basically.
Pretty much. Hence the name.
Cool.
There's an amazing 1 in 50 cover for that.
Is there?
It ticks that dinosaur box, baby.
We don't kill spiders. This would be a cover buy for me, and Black Caravan are normally fantastic when it comes to the books, but this really intrigued me just because of the cover, and it's Joseph Schmalk. Hopefully I've pronounced that name right.
Schmalk.
Scout Comics is obviously the Black Caravan is the imprint of Scout Comics, so I think this might be quite a hard book to get if you've not already pre-ordered it, but I'll definitely be checking it out to see what it's about.
It does look very good. Like that is a good cover buy, to be fair.
This is this one's based on North. It's like a Norse kind of theme to it. So there's a reason that she looks a little bit like Loki. It's going to be that, like Norse
mythology and stuff.
Yeah,
Variant.
The Vikings.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this just because I like Vikings.
Yeah, no, that does look good.
This is one that I've been reading from the start. It seems to be going on for ages, this one. It seems to like more than a month before you get to the next issue, but this is Midnight Western Theatre, again from Scout Comics. And this is Lewis Southard is the writer and David Hahn is the artist. And Lewis was on Spinetix a few months ago, a fantastic sort of interview with him. Have you guys been picking this up? This is actually on my pull list, so I get the physical copy of this.
I haven't.
No? I might just pick it for badness, so you just have to read issue 1
What
and
is
2.
it? What is it about? I'd be interested to find out what it's about.
It's basically about. It's what it sounds like, midnight Western theatre.
Okay.
So it's set in the Western time, and it's following these two characters. And it's Will Atana, I think, is the name of the character. And they're basically going through this journey, and it's like a dark sort of survival of the fittest type thing. And basically in every issue, they've stumbled upon different characters throughout it. And I think it's only a 5-issue run, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they tie the first 2 issues together, because I found them quite distinctive stories and individual stories as opposed to kind of a joint thing. But that might have been a lot to do with the fact that it took me so long to read between issue 1 and 2, because it took quite a while for it to come out.
And last but not least, we have
The Devil Tree, again, another first issue. And this one was just cover buy for me for no other reason. I thought it just looked pretty cool. I think it's meant to be set back in the 1970s, and it's all to do with a series of bizarre incidents. And it's all set amongst this tree. It happens. There's always a devil tree anytime an incident happens. So I just thought it was a cool premise, and I'll check out the first issue to see what it's like.
Well, that was awesome. So everyone in the chat, these are obviously the comics coming out next week, July 21st. So if you haven't got your pre-orders in yet, I'd get them in if there's anything there that piques your interest. But as always, Andy, that was awesome, mate. I hope that livened you up a little bit. You seem like you had a little bounce in your step there talking about them.
I'm always bouncy.
Always bouncy. But Tom, you was unfortunately I didn't let you send me any keys last week, and it was my fault. So I kind of put something together for you as well. So let me just do this for you.
Nice.
That's all right, isn't it? It's not too bad.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, so obviously this is your killer keys for New Comic Book Day, July 21st. Now,
All right.
you ready?
Yeah,
Let's
killer
go.
keys for next week. So this is a key issue. So this is the first Moon Knight coming out next week. So it's the first issue of the first new series. There's a brand new series of Moon Knight. This one's got a first appearance in it of Dr. Badder, who is a renegade priest. And he was basically who Moon Knight is basically trying to hunt down during this issue. Written by Jed McKay and artwork by Alessandro Capuccio. I hope that I've said that right. Probably said that completely wrong. Completely butchered it. Say again.
Capuccio.
Capuccio.
Yeah.
Come here, did you say?
he said commit.
Commit. All right. Okay.
Commit to the name. Commit to the name. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's the reason it's a key. It's because it's got a first appearance of Dr. Badder, and it is the first issue of the new series.
Now, the Poptimist, a few Moon Knight covers on the way. There was 37 variant covers out this week.
Yeah, and I think there's quite a few store exclusives for this one, but we've passed on all of them, because I think the original cover for this is amazing. I actually really like this David Finch cover.
Yeah. And Alan Quaid did a pretty decent cover as well, I think he said that was one of his first solo comic covers that he did. I think he did. Did he say that on the show? I think he said that because obviously he doesn't really tend to do too many of them. But I'm excited for this. I haven't really read many Moon Knight comics, so yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. And obviously with the first appearances as well, it's probably going to shoot up, and then Gremlins on eBay are going to be flipping them for shed loads.
I think if you like Moon Knight and you want to get it to read, get it soon, because otherwise you're going to be paying through the nose for it. Because I think Dr. Badder is going to be the main villain throughout the series. So I've read on all the other solicitations, and he is going to be a continuous character. And
this is available for Not Quite Mint, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We've got a few issues of a few copies of issue 1 left. You can pre-order issue 2 and 3 at the moment.
Perfect. So that comes out July 21st.
Yeah, so yeah, the next one up is the continuation of the War of Banter Hunters, but it's crossing over into Jabba the Hutt's own comic. And this is the first issue of that, written by Gary Dungan. I'm not even going to try to to say the name of the artist. But this is a really interesting one because it's the first appearance of a brand spanking new bounty hunter called Developop. So I'm interested to see what she's going to be about, and the variant covers for this shows what she looks like, and they only recently released them, so it's quite cool. She's been kept in the wraps for quite some time. She's going to be a major character because they're talking about the fact that she's going to be she's a bounty hunter for the I can't remember the name of the people who have stolen.
Sun.
That's it. She's a bounty hunter specifically for them and them only, so she's going to make a big impact, I think. So worth picking up for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What's the cover?
Yeah, no, this is amazing. This is Ing Hook Lee. It's his artwork for this one. So yeah, this is issue 5 of the Aliens. This is the first full appearance of the Alpha Xenomorph, which was teased in issue 1, and that was supposed to be its first full appearance, or so it said. And then Key Collector have changed their mind, and now this is its first full appearance, and it's its cover appearance as well. So,
yeah, he looks pretty badass, doesn't he?
I think she's female.
Really?
Mm.
Someone's definitely pissed her off.
Even though she's called Alpha.
Oh, in Walking Dead, she was called Alpha, wasn't she?
Yeah, but I mean, Alpha is like, I think that there's something about Alpha being a male, but it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Not in my house.
Not in my house. So yeah, Superman Authority issue 1. This is another first issue from DC. This one is a first appearance of the new OMAC and first appearance of a team led by the Ultra Humanite, but they haven't named the team as of yet. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's worth picking up. I might pick this one up just because I'm interested to see what this Superman's Authority is all about, because it's not in continuity with all the other stuff.
Okay, I think Ben's definitely going to pick this up. You're a big Superman fan, aren't you, Ben?
Am I? Honestly. You say about continuity, Tom. Nothing is in continuity over at DC at the moment. I don't even think they know what continuity is anymore.
Yeah, so I think this is my final one, which is the Savage Avengers 22, and this is the first appearance of a Ghost Rider that existed during Conan the Barbarian's kind of era. So they kind of did like a time jump for this one. So I'm kind of interested to read this one, and he's riding a giant spider. So why would you not want to read it?
Sold.
Why would you not want to read it? There's some good keys coming. There's some good keys coming out. There's some good indie picks coming out. It's a good couple of weeks for comic book lovers.
I would 100% if you're into your books, I'd get on the Jabba the Hutt one, and I'd definitely get up on the Moon Knight ones. That I think they're going to be hot books. But from a personal point of view, if you want them for your collection and don't want to have to pay through the nose for them in the future, I'd get them as soon as you can.
Yep.
If that isn't an incentive to head over to notquitemin.com and pick up them comics, and I don't know what is. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm not a Star Wars comic fan. I love the films. I haven't read any of the Star Wars comics, but I'm probably going to get into that Jabba the Hutt one because I think he's a great character. So for that,
I think you'd like the War of the Bounty Hunters, mate. It's been quite good so far.
Oh, it's been brilliant. This week as well is superb.
Isn't it on like what is it? Issue number
2.
10 or something? Number 2. Okay.
You're on issue 2 of War of the Bounty Hunters, but it crosses over into all the other stuff. But you don't really necessarily have to have read any of the other stuff.
Right. Okay. Okay. Cool. But yeah, Tom, another great week. Ben, as always, mate, it is going to be. Yeah, boy.
Welcome to Crampton's Killer Covers. Yes, we are back. First up, don't know what it is. It's that.
Oh, no, hold on.
Oh, no, okay.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. This is Shed with a variant for Doctor Who Missy issue 4. And as anyone who enjoys this weekly feature knows, I love a homage. It's, of course, a tribute to Alex Ross and his famous image of Joker and Harley Quinn with Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor here playing the part of Joker. But anyone that actually knows the characters knows that surely that should actually be Missy who is playing the role of the Joker. So yeah, but no, I loved it. It's just it's a cover by. To be fair, that being said, I've read the first couple of issues of Missy, and it's for Whovians out there, it's really good fun.
Up next. Oh, great cover.
And this is the Carl Ingu. He brings the whip with this gorgeous variant for Sinister War issue 1. Spidey can be seen here navigating the rooftops, the Daily Bugle in the near background. I love the lighting glare, the detail on the webbing, but especially shout out to those pigeons. I don't think pigeons get enough love in the comic book world, so it's nice to see them getting involved. So that's that one. And finally,
just for Tom,
it's the variant for Ha Ha issue 6, which probably will be a book that we look at next week. So excuse me, Aaron Bartling captures the creepiness with a new clown here from issue 6. As I said, we'll look at it next week, but there's a crossover with the Ice Cream Man ongoing book. And if you do look closely at the top of those creepy mirrors, you can see a melting strawberry ice cream and a melting what looks like vanilla ice cream. So yeah, they're my covers of the week. They're my choices. Just deal with them.
They were awesome, and I think I mentioned last night on the chat that I've read this already, and it's sensational. Now we're going to go into it next week, but if anyone in the chat hasn't picked up Ha Ha yet, you need to get on it. Like, it's one of the best comics from 2020 following in. It's incredible. Guys, that's it. Nearly 2 hours this week. I think that was mostly because of Black Widow and Loki and stuff, but it was a bumper edition of the Killer Comic Show this week, wasn't it?
Bumper
It's
edition.
nice to have everybody together.
It is. It was very nice. One question that Comics Talk Weekly has said: what is a homage to tributes called?
A double homage. Or homage suicide. No.
A homute.
Homute. I like that.
Homute.
Tribage.
But guys, that was another episode done. Like, fantastic. Loved it. You guys rock. Thanks for having me back. I've really enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll have me back again next week. Maybe. But what have we got planned this week? Anything? Anyone? Ben?
No, nothing my end. I've potentially got a very kind of exciting couple of grails coming.
Couple of girls or grails?
Grails. Those days are behind me. So I think what I might do is hoard those and get them opened up on Killer Comics After Dark, which, if you haven't heard, we are doing a late night stream from 11 p.m. BST all the way till the early hours of the morning, up until our friends from over the pond Spine Tick start. So that's very exciting. That will be on the 31st of July. So, and it's all going on, not just comics, toys, movies, my birthday. It's all going on.
Yeah. Might have a few special guests on as well. Who knows? Tom, what have you got planned?
At the moment, nothing. But there is a plan in the pipeline to drop some new stuff onto notquitemint.com. Hopefully going to be dropping in the new crate next week. I also might be doing a sub-up box, like a Not Quite Mint pull box. I just need to work out the logistics of that. FOC is coming this week, so like get your final orders in, what you would want.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. If you want to know what is on FOC, go and see Andy's channel, because he does What the Fuck every Friday.
Yeah, head over to that main guy there. Andy, have you got anything coming up?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, right, so we'll move swiftly on. We've got I don't know what to do. Are you winding me up or?
No, I don't. I actually don't have anything. My channel's no more.
But you still got your Instagram that you're absolutely killing it.
Yeah. I've been a little bit lazy on the Instagram side of things, but yeah. If anybody wants to go and follow me on perpetual.comics on Instagram, but the only time you'll see me is on Killer Comics.
You will actually, if you do type in perpetual.c, you will also have a Barrel of Laughs as well. She's a very nice lady, so make sure you do check her out, give her a sub if you can do. But we are getting talking in the chat. We've got I think this is proposals for Killer Comics Goes Dark is Dancing Girls, Yahtzee, Pot's Mr. Big Show. That'll be How Special, Yahtzee playing Dancing Girls. It is going to be a busy week.
Good God.
I'm placing next week's Midtown Order. Andy has quit third shift by admission just now.
I was on the shift and I told them that I was never going to do the shift again.
But yeah, I think it's going to be good. Like the Killer Comics show After Dark is going to be good. That tee up for the absolute legends that don't sleep over at Spine Ticks, and Sith Lord Lee clearly doesn't sleep ever. He's like what is he? Like a vampire. Just doesn't sleep. Lives on alcohol, and that's it. And on that note, guys, I'm going to head off and play some topless darts with Darren via FaceTime. It's been a great week, pretty decent week for comics. Fight Girls #1 was definitely my read of the week. Absolutely loved it. Massive shout out to Frank Cho. I'm going to head off and read Fight Girls again and screenshot every single page and send it to Andy in his DMs just so he has them in his mind when he goes to bed. But guys, unless you've got anything else to add, see you later.
See ya.